The Human Service Commission President. Our Commission Secretary will take roll and then provide instructions for public comment.
Thank you, President Kyle. Okay, I know, so as well as please respond, President, when I call your name, President Khan. Vice President McCray.
Are you?
Present.
President McDonald. Commissioner Semmel. And Commissioner Singh is joining us remotely on WebEx. Are you present?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful. All right, we have a quorum. Item 3 on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Just to note that items 9H through N will be presented by Rosalind Tillery. Are there any comments or questions from the commission regarding the agenda?
Move the agenda.
Okay. And just have to wait, see if there's public comment on the agenda.
Okay.
For public comments, let me explain how this works. Your public are attending this meeting via WebEx online and via conference call. During each public comment period, remote attendees will be instructed to. So for WebEx attendees, use raise your hand feature when the commission secretary announces public comment. Should we change the speakers in the back to them? Okay, bear with a second here.
Just text the outline with the syllables down. Did you?
Yeah, do we, just have to turn the volume up. Okay, thanks for your patience. For callers, you should be dialed into the meeting by calling 415-655-0001. When prompted, enter access code 259-196-939-07#. If you're asked for a meeting password, enter 6540. After the moderator closes the WebEx public comment, we will announce public comment for callers. So when you're calling in, when you hear the announcement for public comments, if you're interested in joining the queue, press *3. And then when your name is called, we will unmute you, but if there's trouble, please dial *6 to unmute. And you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay. So we don't have public comment for item number 3, the adoption of the agenda. So a motion to approve the agenda. Dr. McCray, thank you. All in favor? All right. Item number 4, the adoption of the April 27th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Are there any comments or questions from the commission regarding the minutes? No. And nope, Commissioner Singh. Okay, are there any comments from the public? We're opening the queue now. Doesn't look like there's any public comment. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Okay. All right, all in favor? Thank you.
Item 5 is Executive Director Trent Rohr.
Thanks, Commissioner or President Khan. How's my mic? Sounds low. Let's speak loudly. How's that?
That's better.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right. Good morning, Commissioners.
I'll start at the federal level. As you know, of course, it's dominating the news. The debt limit talks pretty much are grabbing all the attention in Washington now. But I raise it because there's a couple of items that might affect us in the operation of our programs. There hasn't been a lot of detail about the negotiations. There has been a little rumbling about work requirements for safety net programs, specifically Medicaid, which is Medi-Cal in California, and SNAP, which is CalFresh in California, are still being proffered by the Republican side. The Dems are pretty stridently opposed. However, it is part of the negotiations. We think what's going on is, well, Medicaid appears to be off the table for now in terms of work requirements, but SNAP and CalFresh is not. So for SNAP, what we think is they're increasing the work requirements up to age 55 for childless adults. Currently, the work requirement is age 49. And what they're also doing is tightening the exemptions that are currently allowed, exemptions to the work requirement that are currently allowed. And California right now is operating under an exemption. So we do not have work requirements for CalFresh in San Francisco or in California. So if that were to be adopted, well, operationally for us and in California, folks, again, recipients without children aged 18 to 55 would be required to work 20 hours a week in exchange for their CalFresh benefits. We have long been opposed to attaching any work requirements to safety net programs like healthcare, food support, and income support. Nevertheless, this could be part of the final negotiation for debt relief or for the increasing the debt limit. Estimates on California affecting about 136,000 recipients statewide. We haven't done an estimate locally yet. And it's not likely to go into effect immediately, so we would have time to prep, but it's something that we certainly would not support. At the state level, the governor released his May budget revision. The deficit statewide increased from about $22.5 billion in January to $31.5 billion in May. The governor proposes bridging the gap with a combination of delaying implementation of some costly programs, doing some fund shifts and other sort of accounting moves, tapping into the state reserve. But importantly, there are no proposed reductions that would affect our human services programs, which is good news. In fact, there are some increases that we might see, or at least that are proposed for now, that are in the legislature. And I'll mention a few of them. One is a 3.6% grant increase for CalWORKs recipients, which locally would also impact our County Adult Assistance Program, or CAP, because the COLA for those grants are tied to CalWORKs. So the CAP program would also see an increase of 3.6% in the cash grant. We would receive potentially more funding for Medi-Cal administration, about $93 million total statewide. And then CalFresh is the big one. And this was a proposal that we have been championing for a number of years, which is to change the methodology for which CalFresh is budgeted. Translation is account for all of our activities for CalFresh and fund them appropriately. Prior to the change in methodology, for example, any CalFresh application that was denied was not considered part of our workload, even though we're receiving the application, we're processing it, even we're denying it, because it was only a caseload-driven methodology. So now the accounting for applications results in an increase of about 160 million state general fund, which is about 400 million total funds. So that's a significant increase for us. Estimates on the state general fund side could be as much as $4 million. Because of the way our budget is constructed, we're already using county money to locally, we recognize the high workload. And so we put county money on top of the required amount and on top of the state and federal dollars to be able to hire enough staff to do the work. So basically what would happen is that state money would wash out the general fund, allowing us to use general fund for other purposes. So that's good news. And there appears to be support for that in the legislature to move that forward. When you sort of look at the May budget revision in total, we're receiving more, as I mentioned, in CalFresh and Medi-Cal, a little bit less in CalWorks, a little bit less in realignment. So when you sort of combine all of the revenues, it's about a wash. So we're not adjusting our local budget submission to the mayor to account for the state changes. And of course, it has to roll through the legislature, so it could change more, but I don't anticipate, given the makeup of this legislature, our programs being negatively impacted. Locally, Mayor Breed will propose her budget for Board of Supervisors review on June 1st. The location for her budget announcement hasn't been decided yet. It might actually be in the board chambers this year. Big issue locally that I've mentioned here every month, which is planning for arrivals for migrants arriving from the border, from border states and cities. Title 42 was lifted a couple weeks ago. We actually have not seen an uptick, and nationally, in fact, the numbers decreased rather than increased. We still have a steady flow of arrivals from Central America and Mexico largely, but it's sort of been the same kind of flow as we've seen the last, say, 12 months. And so nevertheless, we are preparing for a mass arrival event should we see, like New York or Chicago or Washington, D.C. buses of arrivals from Texas largely. Should that happen, we can stand up a shelter within a day. We've identified a spot, a location. We're recruiting volunteers, securing food, all the logistics to operate a shelter that we can stand up in real time, should that happen. And we also continue to work with the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs and the Mayor's Office and the Department of Emergency Management to ensure that our CBO network, or a network of community-based organizations that are currently working with new arrivals, making sure that their system can operate fully, meaning that they have enough resources should they see larger increases. Right now, they're stretched, but able to handle the current influx. And then lastly, locally, I just mentioned, because safety concerns have been brought by staff and clients in and around our buildings. Mayor Breed and Supervisor Ronan announced the deployment of 16 additional community ambassadors in the mission, which is really a part of a broader strategy to increase community safety. This is going to be from around 15th Street to 24th, really helping to sort of just increase safety. It's done sort of a peer-based model, not law enforcement approach, but really more of a sort of conflict de-escalation approach and an engagement approach with folks on the street to make sure that folks are safe. So that will impact staff who travel from and clients who travel from BART to our offices. Similarly, because a number of staff, probably 6 months or so ago, from our 1235 mission office came to the commission to talk about their concerns. Last month, you approved a grant for Urban Alchemy to do street safety monitoring in and around 1235 Mission. This is Mission between 8th and 9th. They actually started. These practitioners are trained in conflict resolution, often have lived experiences with the people that they encounter on the street. And really, I think there's 3 or 4 who are on the street during the day. Very visible. They wear pink vests. They don't provide escort services, but they do provide sort of de-escalation services on the street. And some staff have said they've seen an improvement between the hours of 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. In addition, just a few other safety measures I want to mention. We have additional guards now at our client entrance and bag check station, increased training of guards. We do client wellness checks now every 20 minutes in our waiting room, just to ensure, if they're sleeping, to make sure that they're okay. If they're having sort of issues with waiting or with other clients or with staff, we have guards there to help with that. And then we have a no loitering policy as well, meaning if you're not conducting HSA business, we provide a referral to a drop-in center where clients can rest and sort of get respite from the street. In SF Benefits Net, I just want to point out a new approach to hiring that we've tried that appears to be so far successful, which is hiring a lot more people at a given time and adjusting the training so that they get on the floor and working with clients and alongside their colleagues quicker. So we hired 46 eligibility workers. Typically we would hire maybe 15 to 20 at a time. So we hired 46 at once to address that high vacancy rate and some workload pressures that will be increasing, particularly in Medi-Cal. Combine them with sort of on-the-job training as well as a virtual classroom type training, which hopefully will onboard them quicker, enable new staff to work with clients quicker, and increase the retention when we hire. So very often we could hire 20 workers and only 10 would pass sort of the proficiency exam to be an eligibility worker after the training. So we're hoping to increase that. It was modeled after San Diego's onboarding process that's proved pretty successful down there to addressing vacancies. Also in SFBN, in Medi-Cal, I've mentioned for months now the resumption of our redeterminations in Medi-Cal that was paused during COVID. We began in April, really, but as of May 15th, we've successfully renewed benefits for 4,420 San Franciscans. So again, outreach in many forms, including texting and phone calls to ensure folks come in, provide the paperwork that they need to, and or do it on the phone to ensure that they keep their coverage. Also, really thanks to the advocacy of our HSA's Medi-Cal policy team, the State Department of Healthcare Services updated guidance around what's called the zero income waiver for the homeless population. Without going into sort of nitty gritty on that, the upshot is that there can be an ex parte renewal of Medi-Cal benefits for homeless recipients, meaning they don't have to come into the office. We could just renew it online if they have zero income and they're homeless, which that's a population that, not surprisingly, is particularly difficult to help them with their paperwork and redetermine their benefits. So being able to do it online without them having to do paperwork and all that is actually super helpful. So thanks to the Medi-Cal team here, and thanks to the state for help for shepherding that. And then speaking of DHCS, Department of Healthcare Services, and what they're doing, they're emailing and texting Medi-Cal members who opted in to receive emails and texts to remind them about their upcoming eligibility renewal. So we're basically flooding texts from us, phone calls from us, texts from the state, public service announcements, messages in 19 threshold languages to ensure that folks can understand what they need to do. The goal is that 100% of people retain their Medi-Cal coverage. We know that won't be achieved, but that's obviously what we want to do. We really don't want to undermine the access to healthcare that the Affordable Care Act afforded 160,000 San Franciscans through our agency. In CalFresh, the pandemic EBT, which obviously was a byproduct of COVID, this is food benefit cards during summer months for families with kids in school. And that's going to roll out next month. It's about $120 in benefits per month to cover the summer months for kids. These are, the idea is that families who are lower income, their children get sometimes breakfast and lunch in school, and that obviously goes away during the summer. So the idea is to keep those families, allow them to continue to provide food for their kids during the summer months. Starting June 12th, some temporary student exemptions due to COVID are going away. And what does that mean? It means that exemptions for Pell Grant participants or Pell Grant recipients and work study participants goes away. So students who would have been eligible under the pandemic for CalFresh would no longer be automatically eligible. They'd have to do additional requirements, particularly in work study, in order to receive CalFresh. And then lastly, in CalFresh, there's been a really big uptick in EBT theft, CalFresh and CalWorks. There's circuits of international organized crime that are doing skimming and scamming of EBT benefits, stealing literally millions of dollars tens of millions of dollars across the country, millions and millions of dollars in California, particularly Los Angeles, but we've seen it as well. There's been FBI, along with local law enforcement, really trying to get after this more. There's been a lot of arrests in LA and in San Francisco. We continue to remove EBT skimmers, which is basically a device you put into an ATM machine or a point of sale machine, and that steals the EBT information, and then they duplicate cards and steal the benefits. So we're actively going after point of sale sites where skimming is occurring. On the good side, in the May revise, I didn't mention this. They are moving forward with the chip technology for EBT cards that will be rolling out in 2025. We were hoping for sooner, but they think that the state believes that's an accelerated time frame, but that would prevent this, but not until 2025. Moving on to CAP. Starting next week, CAP, County Adult Assistance Program, will be offering same-day appointments and prioritizing them for our homeless applicants. Often due to workload, someone would come in for an appointment to apply for benefits. They would have to wait and be scheduled a number of days or weeks out. Benefits would be often retroactive, but still they'd have to wait. We're restructuring a bit to allow us to do same days, particularly important for homeless clients who often, when an appointment is made, they don't come back, after. So doing that would also allow us to provide homeward bound offerings to homeless for the same day that they're scheduled for an appointment. And then lastly, Family and Children Services are happy to say that our comprehensive prevention, child abuse and neglect prevention plan that's required under the Federal Family First Prevention Services Act, or FFPSA, was approved by CDSS without even a follow-up meeting or discussion with us. We're only one of 2 counties to have it approved. San Diego is the other one. And they're going to use our plan as a model for other counties as they're developing ours. So congratulations to our Family and Children Services team and our city partners for such great work on the plan. The state has also approved our budget and plan for our guaranteed income program for foster youth. The approval, I think, was last week. So we are on track, hopefully, to launch in August, and we'll certainly do a press announcement with the mayor's office on this. It's going to provide guaranteed income supports of $1,200 per month for a year and a half to about 180 former foster youth aged 21 to 23. I think we talked about this last month, I believe. Again, this is a grant opportunity through the state. There's a number of counties that are doing this, and we are coupling it with an evaluation to see what kind of impact guaranteed income has on young adults who have exited foster care. Also in Family and Children's Services, every year the San Francisco Unified School District sponsors an event to honor foster youth for their academic achievement. Representatives from Foster Youth Services at the school district also honors adults that provide motivation and support to assist our foster youth to graduate and to move on, hopefully, to college. And this year, Family and Children's Services had 3 protective services workers who were honored, along with other adults who are not affiliated with the agency, in an event that was held early this month. And I just want to recognize them. So the 3 child welfare workers who recognized are Blair Coppenwhite, Andrea Canziani, and Rasan Queen. I doubt that they're listening in, but maybe some of their colleagues are, and can tell them that they've been recognized in front of the commission for their great work with our foster youth. So thanks to you 3 for doing that and for being recognized. Congratulations. And then lastly, a special thanks to Commissioners McRae and McDonald for attending the Resource Family annual appreciation event that was held in early May in South San Francisco. They really appreciated your attendance. And then I mentioned this last month, I'll mention it again, the annual Independent Living Skills Program graduation for foster youth will be held Thursday, June 8th at the Firehouse Restaurant in the Marina, beginning at 5:30 p.m. No need to RSVP. There's plenty of room. Hope to see you all there. We'll give you more details if you want. That is it. Happy to answer any questions.
we need to do public comment after his report, so. Moderator, please open WebEx and the phone line for public comment. We will allow some time for callers to submit their request. All right, since, hey, someday. Okay, thank you, Executive Director War. We can move on to the next item. President Khan?
Is the employee of the month, who is Maria Alvarado. If you think you're clapping now, wait until you hear what we have to say. Maria has been an eligibility worker at SFBN for the past 7 years. She works in a specialized unit providing CAPI, Cash Assistance Program for Immigrants, assistance and benefits to non-citizen customers who are aged, blind, and disabled. Maria is an exceptional employee who consistently goes above and beyond to ensure the CAPI customers receive the care and support they need. She cares about the community she serves, puts in the commitment, and sees the importance and value in the work. Maria is always ready and willing to help her peers and is extremely flexible to cover extra shifts or take on more work if needed. Last year, the CAPI unit went through some operational changes, and Maria played a huge role to help develop business processes and procedures. Her extensive knowledge and expertise was very much appreciated throughout the process. The new business and operational processes that she helped develop is being used daily by the CAPI team and will be used for training new staff in the future. However, more recently, she was appointed as our CAPI subject matter expert. This is a huge responsibility as the team will lean on her to help guide them through our transition and new CalSAWS system in the fall. Throughout this time, Maria has maintained a positive attitude while managing her own workload along with working on special projects. It has been a pleasure working alongside Maria, and we are grateful that she is part of the SFBN team. Director Rohr.
Congratulations, Maria. I'm pleased that you're being recognized. I'm also pleased because I don't talk about the CAPI. We love our acronyms, CAPI program much here. So it gives me an opportunity to do that. So CAPI is a program for legal non-citizens who are disabled but are not eligible for the federal SSI program as a byproduct of welfare reform in 1996. Basically, in their wisdom, and I'm being sarcastic, they excluded legal non-citizens from certain CalFresh benefits, but also from federal disability benefits. And so the state, in response, and counties, including ours, advocated for this to create a state-only program to provide cash resources and cash assistance for disabled adults who are not eligible for the federal because of this stupid rule about legal immigrants. Sorry. So it's a great program, and one that doesn't get a lot of recognition because it's not big, but is vital for the people that receive it. And so, Maria, thank you for your 7 years of work in CAPI. I know that the recipients appreciate it, and I appreciate it because I get to tell them what CAPI is, and everyone else is listening. Thanks for your great work. Certainly very well deserved. And being a subject matter expert is also a lot of work. So thanks for taking that on. Appreciate it. No one can hear it?
We're having it at our sound system for WebEx.
That's fine, no.
Just saying that we will be.
Thank
They're
you.
not working right now.
But yours, congratulations, fine. Thank you. Yours is working fine.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, President and commissioners. I still get nervous in and on, so. It is very hard to put feelings into words, but I want to say that I'm very happy to be here. It's a huge honor for me to accept this recognition. That should go to all my colleagues. I'm very thankful to my supervisor, Yolanda, a manager, Tu Wong, here, to the director, to the great and amazing group of supervisors, my co-workers, the award organizing committee, and everybody else that supports me. It's definitely a huge achievement as an eligibility worker that's at the end. So thank you very much. With this being said, and accepting this recognition, it makes me reflect on the work and the service that they provide to our community. Like Fran said, we serve the community in need. Our clients at CAFI are people that do need help. And I'm very proud to serve them each and every day. And I will continue to do that to the best of my ability. There's a saying, one of my favorite sayings, from Winston Churchill, which says that we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we keep. It's definitely what I stand for every day. And I do want to say thank you again for this special recognition. I will definitely put it in a special place in my house. Which is also, it's sort of like a responsibility to continue serving my community and the edges. Thank you very much again for everybody, and you all have a wonderful day.
By the way, we're working on the speaker system in here, so just bear with us. We have the engineer here. So you may hear some echo or no volume, or we're gonna play around with it a little bit while we try to move on with this meeting. Item number 7 on the agenda is the consent calendar. Do any of the commissioners want to remove an item for individual discussion? Nope. Okay. Is there any public comments? I'm going to open the public comment lines. *3 to get in the queue. No public comments. Is there a motion to approve item number 7, the consent calendar?
Second.
All in favor? Item 8 is a presentation. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just had a question on these temporaries. I think they're 99, what is the number? 9910. I just wanted to know how long do they generally work temporarily? Yeah.
I don't know if this is gonna work or not. The 9910s are part of our Jobs Now Public Service Trainee Program, generally for a year. They're on board for a year.
You want to announce item number 8? Item number 8.
Yep. I'll answer. Item number 8 is Joe Malika, Resource Family Recruitment Update.
Bear with me a second here.
Probably need that. Is it on? Can you hear? me?
Yeah, he's working on it, so let's give it a try.
Let's talk about it. Good morning once again. Please let me know if you can't hear me. Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it, everyone. Hello, Commissioners. Good morning. My name is Joe Malika, and I'm a Senior Manager with at the Communications team here, I'm here to give you an overview of our next foster parent recruitment campaign. You'll all be reviewing a contract later in the agenda. Speak a little louder. Okay. You'll be reviewing a contract later in the agenda, first item, in fact, about our foster parent recruitment campaign. And before that, I wanted to take this opportunity to provide an overview of both our last two campaigns and why a new initiative is needed. First of all, in case you are not aware, foster parents are now called resource parents by the state. So you'll see both these terms in this presentation. Next slide, please. So as you know, like many counties in California, San Francisco has a shortage of resource families. We currently send more than half of our foster youth out of county. And although this is due in part to placing youth with relatives who are located outside of San Francisco, this is also due to the lack of resource homes we have here within our city limits. So the question is, how do we solve this? So we hope to develop an effective marketing campaign that not only raises the awareness of the need for more homes within our community, but spurs people to take action to become a resource parent. Now, we also need to dispel myths around who can be a resource parent, as well as portray the many emotional rewards of fostering. Now, finally, our goal is to raise the call to action of our city to get involved and increase the number of resource homes by 15% each year. Next slide, please. So what worked in the past? Well, we've previously run 2 multimedia campaigns to raise both public awareness of the need for more homes and raise the call to action for San Franciscans to get involved. And we hired an advertising firm to design a recruitment campaign. And in late February 2020, we launched a multimedia advertising campaign. And then 3 weeks later, the global pandemic hit. Not ideal. Then in 2021, we followed up with We Lose a Piece of Our City campaign, which you'll see up here on the slide. These were ads that depicted San Francisco icons with missing elements, such as the Golden Gate Bridge missing a tower, or famous street intersections with missing elements. We wanted to make the point that to San Francisco residents that our city loses out when foster kids are placed outside of our community. Now, these ads were run on billboards, buses, large posters, and muni transit shelters, as well as digital ads on websites and multiple different social media channels. Next slide, please. So what were the campaign results? Although asking people to step up and become foster parents is a big ask, especially in San Francisco, where living space is at a premium. After all, not a lot of us have a lot of extra rooms in our homes. We did see positive results across both campaigns. So after 2 years and 2 campaigns during the global pandemic, we saw increases across the board. We saw increases in the number of inquiries from people interested in becoming resource parents. We saw increases in number of applications, as well as approved homes. Then, however, as you'll see on the slide, once these campaigns came to an end in 2022, these numbers decreased again across the board. So what does this show? It shows that we once again need another campaign to help raise awareness and urge people to get involved to help our youth. After all, with so many competing issues in our city, it's easy for the general public to lose consciousness of this particular issue. A new campaign will help both raise awareness of the needs for foster youth and put out a new call to action for our community to step up and help. Next slide, please. So what are we recommending moving forward? Well, first of all, we need to conduct research. The last time we did in-depth research on this was over 6 years ago. And we need to ensure that we understand the landscape and the fabric of the communities that we're serving, and how those communities have changed since the pandemic and our last two campaigns ran. For instance, we need to research who the people most likely to step up are, who those groups are, who those individuals are. We need to engage with stakeholders and conduct research to identify neighborhoods and populations that are most likely to engage. In addition, a big need is for homes for foster teens, and we need to create a suite of materials around recruiting resource parents willing to bring foster teens into their homes. And then we also need to continue our work with the faith-based community on recruitment. And ultimately, we need to create a new paid multicultural advertising and PR campaign that builds awareness and motivates target audiences to act. This means strategically placing media in the most frequently seen locations in these neighborhoods and on digital channels by identifying target populations. So we plan on utilizing message testing to identify the most appropriate messaging. And then once these ads are up and running, we'll also continuously optimize our ad performance metrics to make sure we're getting the most optimum campaign results. And finally, we're focusing on enhancing our recruitment website for easier navigation and a more pronounced call to action. Last slide, please. And finally, for this last slide, we wanted to show you an example of the possible messaging journey of the campaign. So this shows how we create awareness with advertisements and then build on that awareness to create engagement with target audiences, urging them to explore becoming potential foster parents or simply getting involved to help foster parents or foster kids, whether that be through becoming a CASA volunteer or simply donating to causes that will help our youth. So this shows how we create awareness with the advertisements and then build on that awareness to create engagement with our target audiences, urging them to explore becoming potential resource parents. First, we place outdoor advertisements in places such as muni shelters, buses, streetlight banner ads, potentially digital billboards. And then our social media ads engage with those folks that have seen our ads in the outdoor environment and our target audiences. And then we retarget them with multiple different digital and social media ads, which reinforces our messaging, but also helps diversify our messaging and urge them to action. It also makes it easy to click through to our recruitment site. And finally, that recruitment site provides more information with compelling content and makes it easy to reach out to us for more information or simply to sign up, to begin the sign up process. And that's the overview. Thank you very much for your time. Does anybody have any questions?
Hearing none, ask for a motion to.
So this is just for information.
Okay.
And then to move on, I'll just stay up here.
You can just stay.
Okay.
Trucks, when I announce number 9.
No, you can participate. Yeah, I like hearing your voice.
No, you don't. All right, we're moving on to the next section, item 9A, Division of Labor Contracts, and Joe Mollica will present.
Present the contract for the Department of Benefits and Family Support, who requests authorization to enter into a contract with a creative advertising firm, Division of Labor, for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025 for the amount of $280,000 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $308,000. The purpose of as you previously heard, is to develop, finalize, and implement a foster resource family recruitment and retention strategy through a communications and multimedia campaign. Yeah, are there any questions on the contract?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, we'll open public comment then. Star 6 to be in the queue. or raise your hand if you're online. And I don't see any public comment. Ask for a motion, or you want me to do all that? Is there a motion to approve the Division of Labor new contract?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Thank you, Commissioner Singh. We can hear you. Wonderful.
yeah, yes.
Item B, Bay Area Legal Aid, new grant agreement, Rosalind Tillery.
Right.
Misaki. I'm the Community Services Manager for Welfare to Work Services, and I just wanted to take a moment to introduce our newest member of the team, Rosalind Tillery, who will be presenting several items for you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, President Khan and Commissioners. My name is Rosalind Tillery, Community Services Specialist from Welfare to Work Services. The Department of Benefits and Family Support requests authorization to enter into a new grant with Bay Area Legal Aid for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2027 in an amount of $1,378,980 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $1,516,878. The purpose of the grant is to provide individualized legal support services. CalWorks and CAP participants often need legal services to resolve issues that prevent them from entering an employment activity, being employed, or retaining employment. Bay Legal provides culturally competent, individualized legal support, which includes legal advice and representation and referrals to identify and resolve these employment barriers. Key areas include employment rights, consumer credit and garnishments, identification, such as driver's licenses and birth certificates, civil and criminal case records, family cases, including domestic violence, housing and immigration issues as permitted by regulations such as applications for U and T visas. Bay Legal will provide full service, individualized legal support services or complete simple legal transactions for a total of 350 client matters annually. I am happy to answer any questions you may have, and Reagan Jern from Bay Area Legal Aid is also present. Thank you.
Are there any comments? We'll open public comment at this time. Raise your hand if you're online or *3. No public comment in the queue, so we will close public comment at this time. Is there a motion to approve this Bay Area Legal Aid contract? All in favor? Thank you, Rosalind. Item 9C, Huckleberry Youth Programs New Grant Agreement, and we have Karina Zhang.
Good morning, President Khan. A little bit shorter. My name is Karina Zhang, and I am a program support analyst from the Family and Children's Services. I'm here to request your authorization to enter a new grant agreement with Huckleberry Youth Programs to provide crisis intervention and case management services for the commercially sexually exploited children and young adults, and more commonly referred to as CSEC. This agreement covers the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2028 in an amount of $2,831,160 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $3,114,880 and $276. The Huckleberry Advocacy and Response Team, also known as the HEART Team, was established in February 2016 in response to a new law change in California that clarifies CSAC is a form of child abuse and should be reported as such, and that services for CSAC should be funneled through child welfare. Since then, the HEART Team runs a 24/7 response line that parallels the child welfare hotline and responds to CSAC referrals jointly with FCS. They also provide case management services to help this unique population to achieve immediate and long-term goals. With the approval of this new grant, HEART will be able to continue to work in partnership with FCS and the greater community to help young people who are affected by sex trafficking to achieve safety, permanency, and well-being outcomes. The HEART Team served youth ages 11 to 24. They work with both system-involved and non-system-involved youth. In the past 7 years, the HEART Team has served nearly 500 young people in the various capacities of their program. HEART has successfully established themselves as the primary CSAC service provider in San Francisco. And HEART Team members are often invited to local community events and CSAC trainings as subject matter experts. And I have here with me today, Huckleberry Youth Programs Director of Health and Safety, Katie Reisinger, and we will be happy to any questions you have about this grant and this program. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the commissioners? Okay. Opening public comment at this time, raise your hand or star 3. There's no public comment in the queue, so we'll close public comment at this time. Is there a motion to approve the Huckleberry Youth Program's new grant agreement? All in favor?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Karina. Item 9D. We have multiple providers being presented. APA Family Sports Services, Chinatown YMCA, Mission YMCA, Richmond Neighborhood Center, Self-Help Neighborhoods, Self-Help for the Elderly. And it's Kathy Huang.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Usually too short for the mic. So funny.
It's amazing technology. Nice down. Amazing.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Kathy Huang. I'm a program analyst with the citywide food access team here at HSA. Today, I'm requesting authorization to enter into new grant agreements with multiple providers for the period of June 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 for the provision of food support in targeted neighborhoods in the combined amount of $1,325,000 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $1,457,500. Funding for these grants is provided through the city and county general funds. As part of HSA's goal to improve food access for food insecure community members in the city, we released RFP 1074 to fund nonprofit community-based organizations to provide free groceries to currently under-resourced areas. All funded grocery access programs shall serve food insecure community members at large and have the specific capacity to serve Asian American and Pacific Islander or AAPI low-income residents within these areas, as the AAPI community makes up the largest BIPOC population within these areas. The RFP focused on parts of the city with demonstrated need not only for expanded food access, but for culturally and linguistically appropriate services. All of the grocery programs shall provide opportunities for participant feedback regarding the food items and the services provided. And all community-based organizations as a part of this grant shall measure client satisfaction to ensure that their program meets the needs of the community. Together, these grants will provide an estimated 50,000 culturally responsive grocery bags to over 1,460 clients during this grant term. The 5 community-based organizations that we are requesting to enter into new agreements with are APA Family Support Services, the Chinatown YMCA, the Mission YMCA, the Richmond Neighborhood Center, and Self Help for the Elderly. There are representatives from the organizations here, and I am also available to answer questions. Thank you so much.
Very much, sweet.
We'll open public comment at this time. Star 3 to join the queue or raise your hand. And there's no one in the queue. We'll close public comment. Is there a motion to approve this new grant agreements with multiple providers? Oh, we have to do each one at a time. Sorry. Yes. Are you sure you don't want to do it with your gavel? No, okay. Sorry. First grantee, is there a motion to approve APA Family Support Services? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve Chinatown YMCA new grant agreement? All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve Mission YMCA new grant agreement?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve Richmond Neighborhood Center new grant agreement?
So moved.
You're muted.
All in favor?
It's okay. Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Singh. Is there a motion to approve self-help for the elderly new grant agreement?
So.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9E. It's a new grant agreement with Arriba Juntos, Marlon Sanchez.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Marlene Sanchez, Community Services Specialist for Welfare to Work. The Department of Benefits and Family Support requests authorization to enter into a new grant with Arriba Juntos for the provision of transitional employment and welfare to work re-engagement services for the period of July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2027 in the amount of $8,304,248 plus a 10% contingency for the total amount not to exceed $9,134,673. The Transitional Employment for Welfare to Work Re-Engagement Program, or TE for short, offers subsidized employment and case management activities to unengaged CalWorks participants. It provides a 1-month job study re-engages participants into welfare to work activities and also helps the CalWorks program meet the federal work participation rate requirement. If this contract is approved, Arriba Juntos will serve 525 TE participants this contract year. I'm available to answer your questions, and Gladys Garcia and Andy Yee from Arriba Juntos are also available.
Are there any comments from the commission? We'll open public comment at this time. Star 3 or raise your hand, please. And I'm being told there's no public comment in the queue. We'll close it at this time. Is there a motion to approve the new grant agreement with Arriba Juntos? All in favor?
Aye.
You. And you're here for 9F, modification to existing grant agreement with Arriba Juntos.
Yes. Again, with your permission, if I may, I would like to present items F and G together. Yes, thank you. The purpose of the vocational immersion program and vocational English as a second language, or VIP for short, is to provide an ESL program along with work participation activities to our HSA participants. The contract provides subsidized employment and helps HSA meet the federal work participation rate. The VIP services will be provided through Arriba Juntos, who subcontracts with City College of San Francisco for the vocational ESL language instruction and the ESL level assessment for each participant. Using a variety of learning tools, participants are provided work-related language skills that can be used immediately at their work sites. VIP also includes a subsidized employment component concurrent with vocational English instruction. The VIP participants are placed in paid work experience at community nonprofit organizations for 6 months at a time. The job site supervisors assist participants at the work sites, helping them work more efficiently and become familiar with the American workplace culture. Participants will also receive job readiness trainings and will be assisted with job search and job placement services. So for item F, we are requesting authorization to modify the existing grant with Arriba Juntos for the period of July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2023, in the additional amount of $265,830, plus a 10% contingency for the revised amount not to exceed $4,710,094. If this modification is granted, the program will increase services this year from 120 to 150. Again, Gladys Garcia and Angie from Arriba Juntos are here, and I'm also available to answer any questions.
Comments in either 9F or 9G? Nope.
For item F.
So, 9F is the modification.
Correct.
I move 9F.
Okay, we'll open public comment at this time for 9F. Star 3, or please raise your hand. There's no public comment in the queue. We will close public comment at this time, and Vice President McRae moved for approval on 9F. Is there a second?
Yeah, 9B is modification.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 9F is approved.
For item, we are asking authorization to enter into a new grant with Arriba Juntos for the period of July 1, 2023 to June 30th, 2026 in the amount of $8,283,590,000 plus a 10% contingency for the total amount not to exceed $9,111,948. And this is again for VIP services. If you have any questions, I am available to answer questions, and also Arriba Juntos is here.
Sorry, I made that confusing last time. So 9G, are there any comments? Clarification? No? Open public comment for 9G, Star 3, or raise your hand. There is no public comment in the queue. We'll close public comment. Is there a motion to approve 9G? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It's approved.
Thank you.
Next, we have 9H, which is a new grant agreement with Arriba Juntos for provision of employment services to formerly and currently at-risk homeless individuals. And we have Rosalind Tillery.
Good morning again, Commissioners and President Young. With your permission, I'd like to present items H through J together.
Yes.
The Department of Benefits and Family Support requests authorization to enter into 3 new grants for employment services to formerly and currently at-risk homeless individuals for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2027, in an amount of $4,523,710 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $4,976,081. The purpose of these grants is to provide employment preparation, vocational training, and job placement services to individuals who have experienced or currently face the risk of homelessness towards the goals of placing them in permanent, unsubsidized employment. The grants support an effort to strategically target available funding to those clients best positioned to benefit from services. Grantees all provide direct training and job placement services, and all take a sector-based approach to placing individuals in employment. Programs are designed to engage participants in activities for at least 80 hours per month and move them to employment within 6 to 8 months. 6 sector-based training programs will be offered to eligible participants. Arriba Juntos will offer vocational training in automated office skills, certified nursing assistant, and home care. Episcopal Community Services in Culinary Arts and Social Services, and Goodwill in Customer Service. A total of 230 participants will be assisted through these programs annually. I am available to answer any questions you may have. And joining us is Gladys Garcia and Andy Yee, also Patricia Melgar from Arriba Juntos. We have Natalie Hopner from Episcopal Community Services. And Samantha Weddle from Goodwill is available via WebEx.
Are there any questions from Commission on either item 9H, I, or J? I realize we'll vote independently, but any comments? No? Okay, we'll open public comment at this time for items H, 9H, I, and J. Star 3, or raise your hand, please. Oops. And there's no public comment in the queue, so we'll close public comment. At this time, is there a motion to approve item 9H, new grant agreement with Arriba Juntos for a total not to exceed $1,779,473?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 9I. Is there a motion to approve a new grant agreement with Episcopal Community Services for a total grant not to exceed $1,940,506?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And item 9J, is there a motion to approve the new grant agreement with Goodwill San Francisco Bay Area for a total grant amount not to exceed $1,256,102?
So moved.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I realize you're presenting 9K also, new grant agreement with Richmond Area Multi-Services.
The Department of Support request authorization to enter into a new grant with Richmond Area Multi-Services for the period of July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2026, in an amount of $7,209,375 plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $7,930,313. The purpose of the grant is to provide pre-vocational services pre-vocational behavioral health evaluations, and behavioral health services to eligible participants. While traditional job readiness programs prepare participants with resumes and interviewing techniques, experience has shown that additional services such as intensive behavioral health-related soft skills training and individualized coaching in workplace behavior and expectations are needed both to assist participants in obtaining meaningful employment and for continued success on the job. The goal of these services is to increase the participants' capacity for economic improvements by remediating behavioral health barriers through time-limited interventions and support. RAMS will provide behavioral health-related soft skills training, behavioral assessments, peer support, and individualized coaching in workplace behavior and expectations to eligible participants. Behavioral health services include assessment and counseling, as well as enhanced short-term behavioral health case management for eligible participants. I am available to answer any questions. We also have Rebecca Pang and Angela Tang from RAMS as well.
There is nobody in the queue, so we'll close public comment. Is there a motion to approve 9K with Richmond Area Multi-Services?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It is approved. 9L, Abode Services.
Thank you. With your permission, I would like to present items L through N together. Thank you. The Department of Benefits and Family Support requests authorization to modify the existing grants with Abode Services, Catholic Charities, and Hamilton Families for the period of July 1, 2022 to June 30, 2025, in the additional amount of $16,151,394 plus 10% contingency for a revised total amount not to exceed $27,246,362. The purpose of this modification is to extend these grants to provide CalWORKs families meeting the California Department of Social Services definition of homelessness with housing locator, housing connector, and housing stabilization and case management services to obtain and retain permanent housing. All three grantees will provide CalWORKs families living in shelters, transitional housing programs, and families who are at risk of losing their permanent housing with housing locator, housing connector, and housing stabilization services. Services include identifying units and providing unit descriptions for the housing match and placement process, matching the placing families with available housing units, and assisting families throughout the lease application and placement process, and intensive case management through regular meetings with participants to track progress towards employment and housing goals. Referrals to other local supportive services and housing support through landlord mediation as needed. In addition, Catholic Charities and Hamilton Families will provide employment services, which offer a robust set of individualized supports, including linkages to Jobs Now. All HSP families will have access to employment services regardless of which agency they receive housing stability services from. For the next 2 fiscal years, these grants will provide for placement of 96 families annually into housing while continuing to provide housing support, including landlord mediation as needed for those already housed. I'm happy to answer any questions. And we also have representatives from the three agencies. Kate Detmer from Abode Services via WebEx, Noemi Membrano, Catherine Lee, and Laity Fernandez from Catholic Charities, Maritza Panagos and Amy Early from Hamilton Families.
Are there any questions from the commission on either 9L, M, or N at this point? No, we'll open public comment at this time for either 9L, M, or N. *3, or please raise your hand. Okay, there's no public comment at this time. We're closing public comments. Requesting a motion to approve 9L, existing grant agreement with the Abode Services for $9,171,138. Is there a motion? Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 9M. Is there a motion to approve the existing grant agreement with Catholic Charities for $8,815,442?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve 9N? Existing grant agreement with Hamilton Families for $9,259,782.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion's been approved. Item 9O. Sole source waiver and new grant agreement with Bay Area Legal Aid. Denard Ingram.
Good morning, President County Commissioners, Director Roy. My name is Denard Ingram. I am an acting program support analyst with Family and Children Services, and I will be presenting 3 items to you today. If there's no objection, I'd like to present agenda items 9O, P, and Q together. Thank you. So I'm here before you today requesting your authorization to enter into a new grant agreement with Bay Area Legal Aid, who will be providing optional benefits counseling to our participants in the Guaranteed Income Pilot Program. That agreement would be for the period of July 1, 2023 through June 30th of 26 in the amount of $235,000, which include plus a 10% contingency for a total amount not to exceed $258,500. That would also come with a request for your approval on a sole source waiver. Item P would be requesting an authorization to enter a grant agreement with First Place for Youth. First Place for Youth currently serves as San Francisco County's ILSP for our foster youth, former foster youth. They will be providing voluntary case management as well as some financial literacy courses also to the GI participants. That grant agreement will be for the period of July 1, 23 through June 30th of 2026 in the amount of $908,250 plus a 10% contingency not to exceed $999,075. That would also come with a request to approve the sole source waiver. And the last item, item 9Q, would be a new contract agreement with AidKit. AidKit will serve as the disbursement platform for the guaranteed income payments. Part of the grant agreement with CDSS is that we use this platform for disbursement. So it's a requirement put into the CDSS grant. That contract will be for terms July 1, 2023 through June 30th of 26 in the amount of $3,379,090 plus a 10% contingency not to exceed $3,716,999, excuse me. That would also come with a request for you to approve a sole source waiver. We do have some representatives from Bay Area Legal and First Place for Youth here, as well as leadership from Family and Children's Services. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Thank you. Are there any comments for either item 9O, P, or Q? Questions? Okay, we'll open public comment at this time. *3 for callers, or please raise your hand if you're on online WebEx. There's no public comment. We will close public comment at this time. Is there a motion to approve item 9O, the sole source waiver and a new grant agreement with Bay Area Legal Aid for $258,500? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve 9P? New grant with First Place for Youth for a grant amount not to exceed $999,075. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there a motion to approve item 9Q, sole source waiver and new contract agreement with 8-Pit for a total contract amount not to exceed $3,716,999?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the 3 motions have been approved. Thank you, Bernard. Item 10 is general public comment. At this time, we will take public comment on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Human Services Commission. We don't have any public comment cards, but if you are online or calling in, please raise your hand or enter *3 to get in the queue. We will wait 1 moment. We don't have anybody in the queue. President Khan, thank you.
System model X. Eventually.